My name is Baraquiel, for those who may not know me. I see a few new faces. And today we're going to have a short discourse on the Bhagavad Gita as usual. And it's always hard for me to choose what to talk about. I'm really bad at choosing. I'd rather that somebody else gives me a topic. But you see, sometimes we all know that life keeps changing, keeps giving us things and things after thing, change after change. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And it helps us bring out many qualities. And many times also, when we go through hard times, troublesome times, not all changes, of course, mean hard times, but and it gives you a lot of perspective on what are we really trying to do in life. You really start thinking many times, what am I doing? What am I trying to accomplish? It is not that I was going through some very, very hard time or anything like that, but it is good when this thought comes back into our mind, because so many times in the midst of activities we just forget. We just forget what are we trying to do in life. I mean, whatever you're trying to accomplish in your life, but also as devotees. What are we really trying to do? And many times we lose sight. We lose sight of what is that goal that we all supposedly have as devotees. And sometimes we realize that we've been going a little bit off track. So today, I choose a reading on the Gita that is in the 18th chapter. It's one of the last verses, actually. So let me read it for you. So it's 1865. Absorb yourself in me wholly. Absorb yourself in me. Be wholly devoted to me. Worship and bow to me alone. So shall you undoubtedly reach me. This I promise you faithfully, for you are dear to me. Forsaking all other dharmas, duties, remember me alone. I will free you from all sin, even from that of not fulfilling other lesser duties. Do not grieve. Now, there are two very interesting things of this. I mean, there are many, certainly. But it's very nice that it's at the very end of the Gita. Because the Gita, really, you can get so much out of it. You know, a lot of wisdom. There is so much wisdom in the Gita. There is so much, tells us how to act rightly, how to do everything, really, it tells you. But it finishes by telling us, it doesn't matter. Just absorb, be holy in me, absorb yourself in me, and love me. And that will get you there. That will get you there. And it's also interesting because the more we go in the spiritual path, maybe it's not our reality now, but to some degree it is. The end of the Gita in a way also may represent the end of our journey in the spiritual path. And the more we go in the spiritual path, we do realize that, whatever happens outwardly, it really doesn't matter. The devotee may be very successful outwardly, or he just may be, in the middle of Watunde village, just farming or whatever. But if he has God, it doesn't matter. If he loves God, it doesn't really matter for him. You may be doing all kinds of charities and getting very outwardly involved, but if you don't have that love, if you don't have that inner joy, you can call it also, that sense of joy, it doesn't really matter. And the devotee, the yogi, really realizes that if you have that inner joy, if you've had love for God, whatever you want to call it, that's what really matters. And then everything else, really, they are just little things here and there that we have to do because we are in this world. So it is a good thing for us to also keep in mind the spiritual path. What are we really trying to do? And that is what we are really trying to do, to attune ourselves to that joy, to that inner joy, and from that joy, do everything, really do everything. And for me and for many of us, the best example we've seen and had, it was Swami Kriyananda. Now, I was fortunate enough to see him in few occasions, nothing very special. But something very interesting happened to me a couple days ago. Nothing very significant perhaps, but it really struck me. I was just going to my computer to some of my secret folder where I keep my secret things that I don't really have. But for some reason, I had this video of the choir in, I think it was 2012 or 2013 in Gurgaon. And for all those of you who knew about Swami, we will always have music at the beginning and at the end. And at the end, it was always a tradition to either sing Peace, the song Peace, or the song Thy Light Within Us Shining. And for many of us that, of course, we were in the choir and we were with Swami for many of those times, it was very special for us, to sing that. So I was looking at that video. First, there were some songs, and then there was the ending, where Swamiji was singing with all of us, because he would always stand up and sing with all of us. And it was the first time that it happened to me, that just looking at Swamiji's eyes, just hearing him singing, he sang actually the two songs, Peace and Thy Light Within Us Shining. I could see right away that it didn't matter for him, it didn't matter that the song, he could not sing it as well, because of course he was old. So somebody had to hold him, so he wouldn't fall down. Some of the notes were too high for him, so he could sing them barely. But it didn't matter. He was just there, radiating that joy to everybody. And that was really, of course, I always knew this intellectually, and to some degree I could feel it. But just looking at this video struck me so much that to him, all these things didn't matter. You see, he was just expressing that highest reality because he had that reality within himself. And again, I not had much experience with Swami Kriyananda, but I have a few episodes that I don't consider them to be very important, but sometimes the more I think of them, I discover certain little things here and there. And so I told this story before, because it's one of the very few that I have, but I would like to tell it again. I was fortunate enough one day that I don't know why I got called to Swami's house to help move some carpets around. Swami wanted to change his carpets. So a group of three men and I were there just moving stuff around. And Swamiji, he was reading when we came, oh, hello. And I said, yes, I would like this carpet there and there. And, when anything was done for Swami, it was always done very efficiently, so people would not stop and chat. It was very nice. So we moved everything. And then when we were ready, Swamiji came, very sweetly. I remember him coming to the room and said, very nice. Yes, this looks so much better, so much better. And what about that one there? And it was very silly. We were just moving carpets. But what really struck me, was that Swami Kriyananda, just in something as simple as telling us to move carpet, as simple as greeting us, he was already expressing so much that even I could feel it. And I tell people that, the first year and a half or so that I was in Ananda, I was kind of asleep the whole time. Or that's what I feel. Now I'm waking up a little bit, but that's how I describe my first years in Ananda. I was asleep. Don't ask me why right now, but and even then I could feel it. And always really that simple thing, that whatever he was doing, he could channel that joy, because he had it, of course. But also, we all have something that we can channel. We all, as devotees, we all have something. Now, one thing that I would like to say, because we've been doing some classes about the energization exercises, so I cannot help but talk about them a little bit today. Because when we tell people, it doesn't matter, just love God, it doesn't matter, just love God. People tend to take that in the wrong way. Some people tend to find it an excuse just to do nothing, I'm loving God, it's okay, don't bother me. And that, of course, is not what we mean here. But one of the things that I want to talk about today, very briefly, is about that subject of energy. You see, no saint, no Swami Kriyananda would not have been a saint. No saint would have not been a saint if they didn't have that energy. That energy is one of the most important things that we can have, because love, really, what is it but an upward flow of energy from the heart all the way to the brain? Is that feeling that we can uplift all our feelings, sorry I say feelings so many times, but that ability to uplift our feelings from the heart to the spiritual eye and giving them all to the divine, that is a loose description of what love can be, or loving God. But we need that energy. It is very interesting, but Paramahansa Yogananda, he said, if you do 1/100th of what I tell you, you will find God. So he said, basically, if we do 1% of what he tells us, we will find God. And again, this is one of those things that people say, 1%. Well, so I'll just do Kriya, or I'll just do Hong So. That should be more or less 1%. But again, no. What was he saying? If you put out 1% of the energy that I'm putting out, of all the things, even that much, for you it will be enough to find that liberation. You see, because they know that, we as human beings, we try to, not that. But he was saying, even if we put 1% of the energy he puts out, we will be there. And the thing is, most people don't feel like putting the energy to do the energization exercise. Sometimes I have a feeling that people come late to the satsang in purpose so they can skip the energization exercise. I hope it is not true, but sometimes it seems that way. And yes, of course, we all know the energization exercise really bring you a lot of energy into your body, and I give you the ability to use that energy however you want, really. Somebody just recently wrote a blog about all the benefits that he felt from the energization exercise. The only reason I don't mention the name is because it's not public yet. But and it was so amazing to see how much these exercises had changed his life. Completely. He's been doing them for 13 years, and also with a lot of willpower, with a lot of dedication. But complete changes, and something that, of course, we all experience to some degree, but something very important that he mentioned that it had not struck me yet. But we are told to do these exercises. Yes, the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. I think everybody remembers that. But also, tense with will, relax, and feel. Most people tend to tense with will and then just forget to relax and feel. Many people just keep tensing instead of relaxing. But that part of relaxing and feeling, you see, that is how we should do everything in life. We should do tense in quotes because we should bring as much energy as we can to anything we do, but in the same way, relax and feel. Relax and feel means do it with that sense of inner joy. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you want to please the divine, to please God, to channel. If we are tense, yes, restlessly, we can put out a lot of energy. And many people do put a lot of energy. But if you don't do that second principle of relaxing and feeling, spiritually, it will be pretty useless, honestly. Because we all know that it doesn't really matter what we do. God could not care less what we do. What he really watches is the heart. He watches the attitude on which we do things. So if we are not able to relax as we are doing our job, then even though we may be serving Ananda, even though we may be serving the Guru, it will not have much spiritual benefit for us because the attitude is not there. Outwardly, yes, we are doing it for the Guru, but inwardly we are not. And energization exercises will help you, yes, live in the higher energy and higher awareness of energy, but also it will teach you how to relax, how to do everything in that way, with feeling. That is why that I always tell people that last exercise is so important, because that's the one that we become even more aware of the energy, even more relaxed. We try to relax even deeper. And you see, and sometimes you see people just do like this 3 times and Om Swaha, But if, for example, you look at Swamiji doing it, and he does it like 7, 8, 10 times, and very slowly, and you can see in his face that he's really focusing, he's really relaxing. And again, that's the attitude we should do. Energy, yes, will, but in a relaxed way. That is the way that we can really serve our Guru. That's the way that we can do things for the Guru, for God. And that is the way also in our meditations that we find that we can absorb ourselves in Him. That is the way to love. That is the way to do everything in the spiritual path, with a relaxed, upward energy. And don't be afraid. You see, because we all can give ourselves whatever we have, we all can give. Some people will give more, some people will give less, because some people have more energy, let's face it, and some people have less energy. But whatever we have, if we offer it all to the divine, it will all get increase, you could say. There is that beautiful and inspiring story. There was a beggar. Many of you probably know this story. There was a beggar that, he went through his day begging for food through all the houses, and he got something. And, he was dreaming, if I could only get more, if I could only, find some riches. And then at that moment, he sees there is a golden chariot coming towards his direction. And he knows the king is coming, the King of Kings is coming. And he said, if the king just could give me even a little bit, I will have it, I could become rich. And for his fortune, good fortune, the king stops right in front of him, and he comes out of the chariot. But then, to his dismay, the king extends his hand like this and says, "What have you to give me?" And the beggar was, "What is this? I am the beggar. You're supposed to give me." He didn't say it, of course. But and then the beggar took, a single grain of rice and gave it to the king. And the king graciously, he accepted it, went back to the chariot and just kept on driving. Then later that evening, he went back to his house and he found on his altar there was a grain of rice, and it was made of gold. And he thought, if I only had given him everything that I have, I will be full of gold. Everything will have become gold. And it is so it is with us. Whatever little we give, it will get improved. It will become engolded, if that's a word, but it will become gold. So don't be afraid to give whatever you can, because it will be that. And every night, like in the Gita we say, it's about introspection, about the battlefield of life. Every night, see, have I given my very best? If I have not, well, at least I can offer in this night everything that I've done to him. And from that attitude, that offering every night everything that you do to him, you will be more and more able to, when you are doing it with the consciousness already of offering. Because sometimes just in the mere thinking, we separate ourselves. In the end, yes, of course, we want to offer everything, but also we want to do everything with that inner consciousness. And these are some practices that can really help us, especially if you do that every night. It has a tremendous benefit. Swamiji will always say to every night, build a bonfire and just give everything, every attachment, everything. But don't only stop with the attachments, give everything that you are to the divine, and everything will become gold. Now, I would like to conclude by singing a little song. For some reason, I love Swami Kriyananda's children's song. They are very innocent, they are very joyful, and they are also very meaningful. And this one is called, I think it's called Life is Beautiful, but it's life is beautiful, life is gay, when I give myself away, when I live to please the Lord, dancing in thy ray. Let me see thee everywhere, hear thy melodies in the air. Let me feel thy strength in me, give me joy to share. So it's a really beautiful song. I just gonna. And you're welcome to join if you know the song. Life is beautiful, life is gay, when I give myself away, when I live to please the Lord, dancing in thy ray. Let me see thee everywhere, hear thy melodies in the air. Let me feel thy strength in me, give me joy to share. Join me. Life is beautiful, life is gay, when I give myself away, when I live to please the Lord, dancing in thy ray. Let me see thee everywhere, hear thy melodies in the air. Let me feel thy strength in me, give me joy to share. Let me feel thy strength in me, give me joy to share. Om.